Just days after the prestigious Australian institution Deakin University opened its first campus in Gujarat's Gift City, the latest annual Status of Education report, or ASER, Beyond Basics survey revealed an alarming gap in learning capabilities in India's school education. The ASER 2023 Beyond Basics survey indicates that nearly 25% of rural youth in the age group of 14 to 18 cannot read a standard 2-level text fluently, even if it is in their native language. ASER, a nationwide citizen-led household survey that provides a picture of children's schooling and learning in rural India, added that more than half of the surveyed students aged between 14 to 18 struggles with basic division problems. Only 43.3% of the age group was able to solve such problems correctly. This math skill is usually expected in children between standard 2 and 4. While nearly 85% of the surveyed youth can measure length using a scale when the starting point is 0 cm, the proportion drops sharply to 39% when the starting point is moved. In gender-wise comparison, female students do better than males in reading grade 2 second-level text in their native language. In contrast, male students do better than their female counterparts in arithmetic and reading English texts. However, the study mentioned that enrollment levels are rising in the secondary stage. According to the government, till FY 2022, the gross enrollment ratio in school for secondary students stood at 79.6%. But as per the ASER study, nearly 86.8% of 14 to 18-year-olds are enrolled in an educational institution, including vocational training institutes. The percentage of youth not enrolled in any educational institutions differed greatly with increasing age. The percentage of 18-year-olds not enrolled was a high 32.6%, while it is 10.9% for 16-year-olds and 3.9% for 14-year-olds. Dheer Jhingran of the non-profit Language and Learning Foundation explains why the young minds are struggling with learning difficulties despite high enrollment rate.
The first is the quality of early childhood education. When they're between 3 and 6 years old, that's really poor. And therefore, they're not ready for schooling when they actually join grade 1. Also, the enabling conditions in our primary schools are always not great. The availability of teachers, the instructional time, you'll be surprised that in several states last year, there were only 140 days of teaching. And then with teachers away for some time, it was even less. The teaching and learning process is of the type where children are mostly passive. They're chorally repeating after the teacher, or they're copying from the blackboard or the textbook, which is not great for learning.
The ASER report also brings out what's contributing as a hindrance in children's learning ability. Nearly 83% of male youth in rural areas aged between 14 and 18 years were engaged in agricultural work. Of the 76.6% were engaged in agricultural work for family, while 6.4% were working for others. The female youth outnumbered the male in agricultural work for family with 77.3%, while 8.1% were engaged in agri work for others. There was a concerning drop in the learning ability of primary students as well. The basic reading ability of school students across all classes had dropped to pre-2012 levels, while basic math proficiency had declined to 2018 levels. But despite decades of investment in improving school education, why is India still grappling to deliver quality education?
One important reason is that there's a lack of consistency in the vision and implementation. We've got many schemes and programs, but they don't seem to be working for long periods in a consistent manner. The second, as I said earlier, that we still have schools which have only one teacher for 5 grades at the primary level. We have these basic enabling conditions are not there in all the schools, and we've not been able to solve for those. For example, libraries in every school. Third, I think, is the accountability and the focus on learning, which the ASER report brings out, has not been very strong.
You need to have professionally qualified teachers in place. So not only teachers, but professionally qualified teachers. And if we look at the status of teachers, the shortage of teachers is so high, especially at the secondary and higher secondary level. It's around 19% teacher vacancy at secondary level, 24% at higher secondary level. And especially at the secondary education level, one of the important factors is presence of subject teacher. According to MHRD's data, in Bihar, for 1895 students, there is one English teacher. In West Bengal, for around 600 students, there is one mathematics teacher.
So, how can we improve the quality of school education in India?
Though we so much talked about there is no need for input, we have adequate resources, it should be outcome, but we still feel there is need for more resources towards teacher. We need to recruit teacher, we need to fill this vacancy. And the other thing is there should be outcome orientation in the whole education policy and budgeting. If you can't map the outlays and outcomes, then if you can't understand that where are the gaps, then even the policy won't help you to intervene.
Despite persistent challenges, there is hope. Digital learning methods expand in rural households. Nearly 90% of rural youth have access to smartphones today. Twice as many males than females are proficient in smartphone use. The survey found that almost 90.5% of youth uses social media. The ACER report emphasizes the need for a reform of the primary education system in India. The integration of digital learning may provide a ray of hope, but experts believe that the number of children engaged in agricultural work needs to come down sharply for a promising future.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
She has ambitions of becoming a brand. Business Standard.